Greetings, vloggers, bloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another episode of this week's vlog. As you haven't already, if you haven't already followed me, my name is Dustin. I'm autistic. I have other mental health challenges, and I've been living independently for over 6 years, and I have a part-time job. And I've done many other great things in my life as an autistic person who has fought the challenges over nearly 4 decades. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this week's vlog. So for this week's vlog, I want to talk about just taking that one step. And it can be that one step forward or that one right step when you either make a positive decision or you make a decision to protect your mental health. Sometimes we don't realize, if we just do what we know can help us, um, instead of being defensive and fighting a battle we can't win, or, doing something that we may feel uncomfortable doing at first without taking the initiative, how beneficial it can be. Sometimes it's hard to take the first step. Sometimes it's hard to realize that you need to take a step or a tap out away from a situation. Um, there are many challenging things out there in the world. As an autistic person, I face many challenging things, even though it may not seem that way. Sometimes there's deep embedded history. Sometimes there's negative energy. Sometimes there's unwanted energy. And sometimes what I don't realize is that I need to sometimes take a step away from the situation, maybe play my meditation tape, maybe find another coping mechanism, maybe find something that is more, conducive to me to help me get back on track when the situation does not seem that it needs to be the way it is. Sometimes we don't realize that, things are just the way they are and we can't control them. We can't fix them. They're just going to be the way they are. And unfortunately, that's how life is. I think sometimes I want to be the one that can be fix things or think things that are being, the issue. And sometimes I don't come clean about the issue. I may dance around about it. I might not say the right words. I might say the overall issue, but I don't boil down to the little problem that is being faced. And instead, sometimes I blow it out of proportion without realizing that I need to use my coping skills to get through these challenging times that, they're going to be there whether I like it or not. And, there's nothing I can do to change that. What I feel about it is there's not, my feelings have to be put aside. There's nothing I can do about, the situation at hand, or, that you have to deal with things that are just unpleasant sometimes, or that, are unexpected or are unknown. And sometimes, there's a point that you have to realize you need to take a step aside and group yourself together, play your meditation tape, do whatever it may be to help you in a situation that is challenging, that causes anxiety to be more enmeshed and more entangled, more heightened, things like that. It's not always easy. Anxiety is it's always the forerunner when it comes to being autistic, and especially when it comes to doing things that are in new situations, new scenarios, things that don't seem familiar or known to an autistic person, or that seem unwanted, or that unknown. And it can be very challenging. And when your adrenaline and your cortisol are raised, and all you want to think about is running away from a situation because you could fight it, And sometimes I do fight it, and sometimes I do run away from it because I don't want to address the issue. But I think sometimes when we're in those situations, we have to learn how to cope with our challenges the best we can so that things don't get out of hand. And sometimes we have to take a step towards making a better decision for our mental health or a better decision for at least getting ourselves out there and trying to do better for ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to put yourself out there. Um, I'm autistic. I've said that time and time again, but putting yourself out there, it takes a lot. But when it comes to being around people that, pretty much know who you are, you're the average common person, um, there should be nothing wrong with that. You should feel comfortable about who you are. You should feel comfortable, being who you are if you know you're in an environment that makes you feel comfortable. And for me, in these situations where I'm having this added stress or this added anxiety, and I'm not understanding I'm not doing the work to cope with the situation. I'm making it a big deal, and I'm taking it out on those that love me the most, which sometimes isn't the most appropriate thing to do. And, taking my feelings out about other things as a passive aggressive way to not come down to the horse's mouth and say what is really going on. But also, it takes a part of me to understand that I got to do better at working at combating my mental health, doing what I need to do in that moment when I am stressed, and understanding that in those moments that I can't fix, that I don't have control, that I have to do what I have to do to protect my mental health. Sometimes speaking up and saying things, you can say that that's what's bothering you, but sometimes you can't fix that. And there's a reality. Sometimes there's a reality you can't fix certain things, and certain things are never going to change, and they're going to be out of your control. And so you have to learn as an autistic person who often is in a world that is not built for us for navigating um that you're going to have to learn how to navigate that in a way that is helpful for you. I think we've come a long way when it comes to learning about autism, being aware of what autism is. We need to work more on accepting what autism is, but I think in the environments that I'm in, I think it's pretty well established that I can do what I need to do to protect my mental health and not make it to the point that I'm holding it in my mind, and I'm not, you know, causing it to be not finding that healthy channel of letting it out and causing frustration, stress among those, that love me the most, because that's not what it's about. Um, Sometimes we think that, but really it's not. I'm very fortunate to be around people who value me very much and see me for my talents. I understand that I have issues too, but I must do my part at learning how to not overreact to situations I can't control or hold it in and take it out on people who have no control over the situation. It's up to me to want to work to manage my feelings of frustration, anger, any other kind of feeling that I'm experiencing. That is up to me to control and get under control. And if I'm not doing my part as an autistic human being to bring my emotions under control and regulate myself in the way that I know how I need to, then that's my problem. I have no one to blame for that but myself. sometimes we think we can we can change things by calling out people's faults or calling out something that we don't like or that we don't agree with. And sometimes that's not it's not how things get done. Sometimes we have it causes when we're letting our feelings and our frustrations out. Sometimes it makes things boil over, and sometimes it moves beyond the subject matter that is bothering you at hand, and it takes you to another level where you're just finding anything and everything to to attack somebody verbally with, or not find the positive or find the blessing in the situation, and you want to call out things that you're not thinking about at that moment, that you're not thinking in the mindset that you need to think in. You want to call out anything and everything that is wrong because you're in this state of mind where you think because this one situation is already bothering you, and then it snowballs and it makes it more and more. You just build all this negativity, and rebounding from that takes a lot. It's not easy, and it does, but I think if I would have looking back at my situation where this what has happened this week, I think if I would have looked back at the initial situation and did what I needed to do then instead of being the way I know is not healthy for me, things may have got better. Things may have not escalated, may have not kept in my mind, and then I wouldn't have taken my frustration out on people that didn't need that frustration. It is, the work that you do. It is you have to do the work. I think sometimes for a very long time, I did not believe that I had to do the work to cope with situations or work with my feelings, or learn how to manage things I couldn't control. But eventually, I had to learn that I have to be the one to make those decisions, to learn how to control with things that I need to control myself with so that I do not overreact or react negatively in a situation that can snowball and be much worse. Things do get better, but sometimes they're not an instant fix. Sometimes they don't get fixed right away. And sometimes you have to find the relief that you need to find right away in the way that you know how. And I think for the longest time, I've had to not accept that. But now I see that I'm continuing to see as time progresses that I need to do more of the work. And in this one instance, it wasn't perfect. I didn't realize that I need to step away until it was too late. It wasn't too late, it was near that point. And I should have just did what I needed to do. But I now know going forward I have to do better because I've seen the after effect of what happens when I don't do what I need to do to avoid negative energy or a situation that is too much for me, and cope in the way that I need to cope so that I don't react to other people's energy or other things that cause the energy to spark or to elusify. And I think sometimes we have to do things that don't make us feel that don't make us feel comfortable. Something that's new, something that the people I think kind of know us, but we have to extend ourselves a little more sometimes, and that can be hard. But we have to get over that anxiety hump sometimes too. And I think that coping in the way that we can, um, you know, working with anxiety as best as we can sometimes work. We have to do that for ourselves. So with that being said, I want to thank you for listening this week. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to this video. If you have, be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Pinterest. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on the web. That address is www.dustinsdynastyusa.com. And I'm on Linktree with all my handles to my podcast and my platforms and my websites. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty under Linktree. I want to thank you for listening. Be sure to have a good weekend, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.